following program on Amithodhana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
In this day and age, you can literally do anything, learn about anything by the touch of your fingertips. Technology has evolved so much to make sure that you as a human being is able to get as much as possible knowledge from just sitting at home and moving your laptop or any device for that matter. We're here to talk about such a business who have really taken advantage of this specific momentum that technology has brought forward to us. Welcome to Business Best, a show that we have brought forward to have discussions with amazing entrepreneurs and business leaders to help you understand how they go about doing such amazing tasks and how you from home can of course be inspired by that. Joining in on today's program to discuss about his success and the success of his business, we have Mr. Migara Amithodhana, the co-founder and CEO of Magicbits. Hello and welcome to the show, Migara.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. As well, it's a pleasure to be here.
No worries at all. Now, Migara mentioned at the start that technology has evolved so much to make a lot of chores, activities that we would do with a little bit of more difficulty, made it easy. They've made it very easy and they've made it very accessible at the same time. Now, your business, Magicbits, the way I see it, has also made life a bit more easy. We'll talk about that, but first, can we get to know who exactly Migara Amithodhana is?
So I'm coming from a technical background, and I schooled in Colombo, and then I attended University of Moratuwa. I graduated there around 2012, so roughly about 12 years ago. Then now, as you know, in Sri Lanka, when we go to the university and when we pass out, I think only a very small number of people would like to start a business, because most of us are very eager and very keen on getting the highest paid job out there, right? So I was also in that maybe in that hamster wheel. Yeah. So I went to the corporate world, and I was in the corporate sector for around 10 years. So while working in the corporate sector, as you know, I gained actually really good experience in terms of technical experience as well as management experience, and that helped me to think more about maybe starting something on my own. Now I think it's not a new idea, because most of us working even in the private sector or the public sector think about that, right? And we even get very bright ideas about it. But I think the problem is we don't action about it. But I think around 2019, we had a chat with a couple of good friends. And even before that, actually, we were doing a few side projects, like mostly consulting work for the companies. So our domain expertise was actually in the electronics, connectivity, they call it IoT, Internet of Things, cloud solutions in that space. So we have been consulting few companies, providing solutions, and we also actually build a couple of large-scale industrial robots in Sri Lanka, and soon realized there's not much commercial viability, because there are no much companies in Sri Lanka who could afford that sort of large-scale and highly expensive products. So with that sort of trial and errors over the period, I think around 2019 we got many requests from the education industry also to share our knowledge and everything. And that's how I became an entrepreneur. So I was actually a good student, went to the university, went to the corporate world, and then became an entrepreneur. Apart from that, I have 2 daughters, and I'm a father as well. So I'm very passionate about creating technology that could impact people, as well as sharing my knowledge with the next generation and to do stuff that matters to the world.
Definitely. Now, all it takes is to just break that pattern. Once you find your individuality and your uniqueness and places of expertise that you can actually take to good use, I feel like it not only benefits just oneself but also benefits society as a whole. So through that journey, through that experience and through the self-discovery path, Magicbit came into being. Now for our viewers, what exactly is Magicbit all about?
Yeah, I think sometimes when I describe about the product or what we do, sometimes people don't understand it correctly. So maybe you can inquire more from me if I actually don't give you the right picture,
definitely.
Right? So as I mentioned, so our whole objective was to create something which could actually impact the community. And then what we thought was, we saw this trend of technology transforming rapidly. And also, as you might know, because of the technology, some of these job roles and the job landscape, everything is changing. And because of that reason, even the World Economic Forum and everyone is predicting that the children today, so the most critical skills that they have to acquire would be the digital skills, analytical thinking, and creativity, innovation, that sort of skills. Because the technology is moving in a very rapid phase and it's transforming our lives, so it's very hard to keep up with that. So if we have that ingenuity and that intuition part together with the digital technologies, so that could actually do so the kids today can stay relevant in future. So they will gain future ready skills. So that was the main background behind our Magicbit. So what we did was, Magicbit was actually a STEM learning kit. So we call it STEM education because it emphasizes on science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And even in that area, we particularly focus on the technology innovation part. So our product, we have around 4 products right now. So these products are actually made to create very easy to use and very easy to use learning experience for the students on areas like coding, robotics, AI, Internet of Things. And as I believe, none of this stuff is about actually technology. It's all about applying technology to create applications. So what our products does is, it actually makes it very easy for the students to understand what they are doing, and they can think on their own about applications and apply the technology to solve those problems. For example, let's say using Magicbit, students can create a smart plant watering system or a small robot or a small apparatus that could actually solve a problem. And that is the essence of innovation as well. So what we do with Magicbit or through our Magicbit STEM learning kits is essentially empowering these kids or our next generation with technology innovation that could help them to become innovators in future and better problem solvers. And who might know, these kids might create a time machine one day to solve all these problems in the world.
Most definitely. Now, about Magicbit, I think what's fascinating about your product, about your business, is that how it has integrated both learning, early childhood development, and also, like you mentioned, the relevancy. We are in a rapidly changing global world, which keeps on changing every blink of a second. But end of the day, sometimes the school systems that we have, our education plans, not to say they become obsolete, but they do also need to change. But what you are doing essentially is pumping in that change from a different direction. Now, if a person is to purchase a Magicbit product, not only do you give the equipment, you also give programs onto how they can follow through and do the correct coding and programming. Let's talk about that. Are there different sorts of approaches that you have found, the research that you've done to help kids learn it better?
Yeah, so actually our product, when we develop this sort of products, one of the things that we did was we actually developed a few prototypes first, gave it to the users, got the feedback. So we actually developed the product from the scratch with the user feedback. So our users are actually kids age 8 to 18. So we gave them, so we developed the product like a research with the feedback from the users. And since we actually launched our product internationally as well, we got the feedback from users from different parts of the world, which was really fascinating. And that helped us to create the product more comprehensive, as you mentioned. So it's not just a tool. So we have the softwares, we have the tutorials, because our objective was, now even when we were schooling, I think even you can remember, there are only couple of kids in a classroom who are really good in tech, who can figure out stuff. Where everyone asks for the advice for their computers, their gaming console, to everything. But now the challenge for the education system, for the teachers, and even for the parents is, if you look at a job vacancy today, even for a graphic designer, they are asking for AI capabilities, right? So we can't leave out technology from any profession or any area or any business. So in that sense, we have a challenge right now, how to make sure that, let's say there are 30 kids in the classroom, how we can ensure that all these 30 kids are capable of keeping up with this technology. How we can actually educate all of them to use this sort of a thing. So even with our tool, we put a lot of effort to create the softwares more easy, to create the learning material more easy, and they could self-learn these stuff. So with their feedback only, we use their feedback to make it very comprehensive and a self-learning tool.
Out of curiosity, you also said that you are a father of 2 children as well. Were they also taken into the sample of you, trying and testing this out? Was a little bit of feedback taken from them? Or?
Unfortunately, they are very small. They are 5 and 3. Okay. So our the age group that we are targeting is actually age 8 years and above. So because of that, we had to leave them out. But one of my co-founders have a kid, and she's 8 years old. So actually, she was using the product.
Now, see, that's how you know a business is authentic and produces authentic results, because sometimes a sample with whom you actually try out the product is also the founder's loved ones. So once you feel like a product is made out of their own experiences, you know that the end user is going to have quite a good experience with your product. Now, of course, there's a lot more to talk about Magicbit and also about you, Migara, but we'll have to do so right after this short break. We'll be back. This is Business Best. Welcome back. This is Business Best. We are currently in conversation with the co-founder and CEO of Magicbit. Now, a product that enhances a child's education, especially onto the technology sector. Now, when it comes to launching a product that facilitates children education, or especially if you take your demographic from age 8 to 18, that is the most pivotal years of a child's life, where a lot of education comes into play, a lot of influence on the parents comes into play. Now, when it comes to Sri Lanka and introducing a product that could potentially alter how a student studies or alter the field of study that they would want to, you do get a little bit of resistance from the parents, especially because your product slightly challenges our norm of an education system. How do you and your business, along with the rest of your co-founders, really work through this?
Yeah, so I think one of the major resistant factors was, as you know, so globally the screen time of children is a major problem. And because of the screen time, parents are worried that the kids will use either mobile phones or computers, so they tend to restrict this.
Definitely.
And as part of this, some parents are restricting all technology related stuff, right? For example, now a product like Magicbit can't be used without a computer. So in order to program it, you need to have a computer or a tab or a mobile or something of that nature. So I think that resistance was there. And in fact, even in our business, now we started this around 2009, at the end of 2019. So we developed the prototypes, we did a lot of testing and all that, and it took a lot of time for us. So we commercially launched it around 2021. So that was the peak of COVID. And by that time, apparently the parents' mindset was a bit changed due to the fact that during the COVID, whether they like it or not, they had to move to online education with the devices. So most of them had to buy another mobile phone or a laptop for their kids. So apparently, I think one good thing happened because of COVID was even parents recognized that these digital devices could be a medium that their children could learn better. And so because of that, I think now, as you know, during that period, even this boom of AI with ChatGPT and everything came, and suddenly even the students embrace it very well, especially for their education related stuff, researching things, even making an assignment to doing a coursework to everything, right? So because of that, I think that resistance was actually broken by this huge adoption of devices by the kids. But still the problem of screen time, whether they are using it negatively, still exists. But that barrier was actually broken. On the other hand, there was another school of thought where actually now with the boom of AI and all that, there are questions whether the kids actually have to learn coding. Now let's say if a kid aspire to become a doctor, or maybe now I think one thing I have observed is in some countries, let's say even in I have experience in some countries, kids don't aspire to become like doctors or engineers or lawyers. They would like to become a plumber, they would like to become a carpenter. So they ask us the question, okay, now I would like to become a carpenter one day. So why should I learn coding? So now the answer for that would be, so we actually had to explain them the answer for that, where none of this stuff is actually about coding or robotics or anything. So it's all about identifying a problem, solving it using digital technology. So even programming, now what they say is in couple of years, none of us will have to program. Anyway, the computers will be intelligent enough to do that. But why the kids even today have to learn programming is, it's all about maybe setting up a set of instructions in order to get a task done. So it's all about logical sequencing, analytical thinking, and developing that skill set. It's not just about programming. So we actually had to explain the parents and even the students. So what this will do is, this will develop your analytical thinking. It will enable you to apply your creativity using digital technology in whatever the field you will pursue in future. So the idea behind that is, if the kid actually wants to become a farmer, he can become a smart farmer in future. So if the kid wants to become a businessman, she or she can actually pursue on a digital business. Likewise, applying technology and innovation in every field to solve problems is what we are encouraging. So we actually have to explain this concept and the idea for the parents and for the students to embrace it. And it's not a problem only in Sri Lanka, that problem is there all over the world.
So it's not just about teaching a subject matter or majoring one certain subject matter, it's a life skill that you're essentially teaching them. The pattern of thinking and problem solving, that is very, very of high regard right now. Now, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a CEO of a business, your business would have had to face many challenges. Now, it has been founded in 2019, now we're in 2025, the early stages of it. How have you navigated your business through? And if you can provide us an example of a hardship that your business would have faced, how have you navigated through it?
So I think now when we developed the first prototypes of this product, now we were coming from an electronics background, so doing the designing stuff, prototyping was not a problem for us. And when we developed that, and we actually presented it in an international conference as well, and we actually didn't have even a package for our product. So what we did was, we actually put the product inside a phone box and stickered it very well and presented there. So we only had one product.
Right.
And actually after presenting there, somebody in that audience came to me and asked me, what is the price of your product? Now we haven't done any costing of the product as well. So I said, it's $100. So this person gave me $100 and tried to purchase the product. So that was the first instance that I got to realize that, my goodness, even in an international audience, people are willing to buy this product.
Yeah.
So then actually we came back and we had to figure out how to commercially manufacture it, and we actually didn't want to outsource it to some other country as well. So what we did was, we had to discuss with different parties, and we partnered with one of the BOI companies in the Biyagama zone who is actually assembling electronics in Sri Lanka for exporting purpose mainly. We did that because we couldn't comply with the international standards to export. So we partnered with them for a certain part. We got the raw materials from different countries. So, and we actually made it as a made in Sri Lanka product. And figuring out that equation was a huge thing for us. And then the COVID came. So when the COVID came, actually the physical classes in the school, so we couldn't do, were mainly stopped. And we actually couldn't meet anyone physically to convince or to have a meeting even. So what we did was, we mainly had a digital approach, and we tried out our product in the local market through digital channels. Then we wanted to actually try the international waters. So we actually wanted to see the international potential of our product. So then we actually did what we call a crowdfunding campaign. So Magicbits is the first Sri Lankan product, or for the first Sri Lankan technology product to successfully crowdfund internationally. So we launched the product in around July 2021 on a US platform called Kickstarter.com. So and within about 4 hours we were actually sold out, and within about a 1 month period we actually sold out about 50,000 worth products, and we had a huge demand. And that actually triggered a wave effect where people from different countries even bought our product. So we actually sold products to over 15 odd countries through that campaign. And so I think now coming up with that creative solution, or we actually took a bet at it, mainly basically because we were restricted by all these things due to COVID. Now once we actually passed that milestone, and then we had to face the recession and the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. So since we are doing a physical product, we couldn't do stuff virtually as well. So what we had to do was, we have about 15 members in our team. Fortunately, all of them are living in a radius about 10 kilometers from our office in Dehiwala. So we had to actually switch to bicycles during that period. So I remember during that period we were actually we even considered about developing a small bicycle parking space in our office.
Adaptability.
Because everybody actually came in bicycles, but we actually never stopped because even during that period we kept on growing the company, and even during that crisis period we actually managed to raise a funding round for the company as well through venture capital firms and investors in Sri Lanka. And that also helped us to grow and invest for the resources in our company. And then after that, actually we because of our effort, we were recognized as one of the best startups in Sri Lanka in the National Ingenuity Awards. And I think probably by 2024 I think we have won almost all the awards in Sri Lanka related to ICT and startups. So I think we have won most of them, either in the ICT category or the education category or the startup category. And even internationally we got the chance in a few competitions, won few competitions, and we participated in few international exhibitions, exhibited our product. And so that those were the good memories. I think when we face the challenges, we feel that they are the toughest time that we have to face in our life. But when we actually reminisce about them later on, I think it's a good memory.
Most definitely. I think what worked out for you and your company is perseverance and the risk-taking attitude that has actually pushed you all through, even how you faced all the challenges, and to see that it has come out of the other end as such good with prizes, accolades, recognition and global presence as well. I think you've done a wonderful job as a CEO and as a tech company. Now, in a short sense, in like a brief sense, of the interest of time, I would love to hear about your journey because it's quite interesting to see how your company has grown. Since you are quite a successful entrepreneur, along with a massive team who is dedicated to ensuring that your common dream of ensuring that Magicbit raises its levels, how have you as an entrepreneur, or let me rephrase the question, to everyone tuning in who are just like you, aspiring entrepreneurs, maybe in the tech field, maybe in a different field, what sort of a message do you have to our viewers who want to be just like you?
Yeah, I think anyone who's watching, my message would be to stop thinking and start doing something, because I think passing that first hurdle would be the greatest challenge everyone has to face. And I think when we compare Sri Lanka to India, so during the last 10 years we have seen a huge boom in the Indian economy, mainly due to the tech startups that has arisen and driven the economy. And so because of that, I believe even in Sri Lanka has a huge need for foreign income to the economic boost right now. So I think good startups can play a major role there. So it's a responsibility of all of us who have actually remained in this country without going somewhere to at least try to do that. So because of that, my message to anyone would be to start doing something, especially if it's related to digital businesses, which can scale up quickly and also sell to the other parts of the world to become an international business. I think it will have a big effect. On the other hand, I think it's all about creating better opportunities for the Sri Lankans and even supporting the national economy, as well as supporting the global goals as well. So I believe that would be my best message to anyone who's watching this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Do take that leap of faith, and it just might hit the bullseye and be better for you and of course for the global economy. Now, we were having a wonderful conversation with Mr. Migara, the CEO and co-founder of Magicbit, an amazing company that have come from purest of intentions. I feel like wishing you and your company all the very best, and thank you so much for joining in today.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure.
No worries at all. So that, I think, concludes today's episode of Business Best. We sincerely hope that you were inspired by the discussion that we had, and that you'll be able to really set ablaze the interests, the dreams that you have, especially onto entrepreneurship. Now, if you want to have a quick catch up onto our previous episodes, all you have to do is log into youtube.com/Amithodhana English. Check out our playlist, check out the remaining or the previous episodes of Business Best to catch up with all of our wonderful business owners, entrepreneurs, and business leads. We'll see you next time with yet another episode of Business Best to hopefully inspire to start up your own.